Trisha had always loved the supernatural. Ghost stories, haunted attractions, the thrill of things that might be real. Her boyfriend Mykel, on the other hand, was a skeptic to the core. But he loved her enough to humor her quirks, especially on vacation. Their New Orleans trip had been perfect so far. Beignets in the French Quarter and a few too many hurricanes on bourbon. On the third morning, Trisha spotted a flyer stapled to a weathered telephone pole. It fluttered in the breeze like it wanted her to notice it. Belle Mourne Plantation Tour, 1 day only. Special appearance, the real Annabelle doll. Trisha gasped. "Is this real?" she asked, snapping a photo. Mykel glanced at it. "Hell if I know. And I don't want to find out." A haunted doll at a haunted plantation. Sounds like a cash grab to me. I knew all those unsolved murder mysteries would mess with your head. Trisha pulled up directions. Mykel just shook his head. That evening they caught an Uber out of the city. The closer they got, the quieter it became. Even the driver seemed uneasy. "You sure about this place?" he asked, glancing back at them in the mirror. "That house ain't right. Us locals don't even talk about it, let alone go there." He dropped them at rusted iron gates and sped off. Trisha and Mykel stood there, dumbfounded. The Belle Mourne Plantation rose from the swamp like a memory that should have stayed buried. Overhead, storm clouds started to thicken. Trisha squeezed Mykel's hand. "It's just for fun." A woman in a black tour guide uniform greeted them with a stiff smile. "You're right on time," she said. "Just a small group today." "Yeah, because we're the fools who showed up for this freak show," Mykel muttered. Trisha chuckled. Inside, the plantation smelled of mildew. "This house stinks. They need some Glade plug-ins," Mykel joked. The group laughed. Trisha smirked. The tour guide rolled her eyes. The group gathered in the parlor where Annabelle sat in a glass case, surrounded by red velvet ropes and faded warning signs. A middle-aged man leaned in. "So this is the infamous Annabelle. She's smaller than I thought," Trisha whispered. "It's a creepy Barbie," Mykel said. Suddenly something thumped upstairs. "What was that?" Trisha jumped. "Don't act scared now, I told you," Mykel said. Trisha clung to his arm. Everyone froze. The guide chuckled nervously. "Old house, it settles." But they continued the tour, wandering through narrow halls lined with portraits of the Belle Mourne family. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Doors that had been open were now shut. On the second floor, someone swore they saw a Confederate soldier walk into a mirror and vanish. Another guest cried out, claiming something had grabbed his wrist. But no one was there. When they returned to the parlor, something was different. Annabelle's case was empty. "Oh, hell no. Is this some kind of sick prank?" Mykel shouted. "Calm down," said a pale-skinned girl with black lipstick. "Look here, freak," Mykel snapped. "You may get off on this stuff, but I'm not the one." "Look," the middle-aged man shouted. The ropes were still up, the glass unbroken, but the doll was gone. Mykel laughed nervously. "Nice trick. Where are the cameras?" But the tour guide didn't laugh. Her face had gone pale. She pulled out her phone, whispered something into it, and tried the front door. Locked. Her smile cracked. I'm sure it's just part of the exhibit," she said, voice shaking. "Stay calm." Then the lights went out. Rain slammed the windows. Trisha checked her phone. No signal. Mykel pulled her close. Whispers drifted through the halls, low, echoing voices in a language no one recognized. "What the hell? What language is that?" Mykel asked. The air grew thick and wet. One by one, guests disappeared. slipping into rooms and never returning. Some were dragged, some followed whispers they thought were their own names. "Baby, if someone says your name, don't answer," Mykel warned. "Okay," Trisha said, shaking. "I'm sorry for bringing you here." By midnight, only Trisha and Mykel remained. They searched desperately, calling names, checking every floor. At last, they climbed into the attic, guided by the flicker of Trisha's dying flashlight. "I see a window. We might be able to get out through here. It's kinda high, though," Mykel said. And then they saw her, Annabelle, no longer in her case, not seated, standing, in the middle of the attic, surrounded by scorched wood and strange symbols, her head turned slowly, as if she'd been waiting. Trisha screamed. Mykel stepped in front of her. "You crazy," Mykel growled, striding toward the doll with his hands raised. And then, nothing. Darkness swallowed them. The next morning, a tour van pulled up to Belle Mourne's gates. No one came to greet them. The house was silent, abandoned. Inside, there was no trace of the previous night. No guests, no tour guide. Only one thing remained in the parlor. Annabelle, back in her glass case, perfectly still, waiting.